Students, welcome to this recording in which we are going to shed the light on how to pronounce S ending. Of course, it's very important to know how to pronounce S ending. I mean, when you add S, whether you add it to a verb in the third person singular, or in the case of possessive, or in the case of plural, when you pluralize nouns. Now, this rule that we are going to talk about is applicable to nouns, to verbs also, and also to possessive also. Now, the rules you see here, I've written to you that there are three different ways for pronouncing S ending. Three different ways in English, as shown below. The S we added. Sometimes we pronounce it as se, and sometimes we pronounce it as ze. We add S, but we pronounce it as ze. Or sometimes we pronounce it as is. Now, what determines, or this depends on, what does this depend on? I mean, it is very important to know, what determines, how do you pronounce S as se, or as ze, or as is? This depends, as I have written here, this depends on the sound with which the word ends or finishes. So the sound with which the word finishes or ends with is very important to determine the pronunciation of the S. Here, the first rule, which is concerned to adding S and pronouncing it as se, when the word finishes or ends with what? A voiceless consonant. Voiceless consonant. S ending is pronounced as se. So we add S and we pronounce it as se. What does this depend on? This depends on the, as I said, as it is written here, it depends on the sound with which the word what ends or finishes. So here is the rule. When the word finishes with a voiceless consonant, S ending is pronounced as se. Sorry, is pronounced se. So, for example, let us see here. Voiceless sound with ending in voiceless what sounds. I add S here. You see we have more than one consonants can be voiced, can be voiceless. You remember in the chart I gave you, there is a classification of the consonants. Some consonants, when they are pronounced, the vocal cords vibrate, and that causes what we call vibration, and accordingly, or the consequence of this is that the sound is called voiced. There is vibration. But sometimes when the vocal cords are apart, they are not apart, the air passes without causing the vocal cords to vibrate, and that will give you what? Voiceless sound. Voiceless sound like what? Like for example here, stop. Now stop, the p sound is a voiceless sound. Voiceless. There is no vibration. Because there is no vibration in this sound, which we said that it depends on the final sound. This is the final sound here, p. When we add S to it, we pronounce the S as se. So we do not say stops, we say stops. Okay? And this is applicable to nouns and verbs, as I said. Another example, let's take for example, the word look. Look can be a noun. He took a look, for example, or look can be a verb. In both cases, the S When we add it, we pronounce it as what? As se, as here. Okay, so we have pe voiceless sound, ke voiceless sound, and because it is a voiceless sound, so we add s and we pronounce it as what? Se. Okay, so see here I have written to you that the k sound is voiceless, voiceless. Not the v for voiced, or l for less. Right. Other sounds, voiceless sounds, which are in which or where the s is also pronounced as se, is the sound t. Here, want can be a noun, want can be a verb. See, it is the same. See here, t is voiceless sound. When I add s, I pronounce it as se. So I say wants. Wants, as stops, as in stops, or as in looks. So p sound, k sound, t sound. Okay, here we add s, and when we add it, we pronounce it as what? As se. Also, we have it in in the word bath. Bath can be a noun. Bath can be what? A verb. So when I say baths, see be a th. Here, the sound with which the word bath ends with is this th. You remember I said that sometimes we use, one of the problems that we face it in learning English pronunciation is that we use two letters. They represent what? One sound. Here th, and this is the representation. See, th. So now I repeat. Now we said that s, when it is added, whether it is added to nouns, to verbs, or possessive s, it is pronounced in three different ways. Either it is pronounced as se, or as ze, or as is, just like the auxiliary verb is. Now, what determines, what does this depend on? It depends on the final sound with which the word what? End. See here, for example, in the word word, the word here, the word, I repeat to myself, word. Do we say words or we say words? No, we say words. Why? Because this is not a voiceless sound. This is voice sound as it is in the second point. But this is just came across my mind. Now let me repeat. Pe, we say stops. Look, looks. Want, we say wants. Bath, we say bath. So this is voiceless sound. The pe is voiceless. This is also voiceless. This is what? Voiceless. And this is also what? Voiceless. So this is the rule. You know the voiceless sound in English, okay? So these voiceless sounds, when they come at the end of the word and then to which you add s, now the s is pronounced as what? As se. Now this is concerning the s ending when it is pronounced what? Se. Now let's come to the second point, or to the second form, or to the second kind of pronouncing, type of pronouncing what? S ending. We pronounce it as ze, not as se, but as, not as se, but as ze. In words ending in voiced sound, not voiceless, no, voice sound as. Now the voice sound, you should know the voice sound, so it's not going to be a problem. Any voice sound with which the word end and then to which you add s ending, now that will give you, in that case, the s will be pronounced as ze. For example, we have the verb cool. Here, the verb cool ends with the voiced sound le. So when we add s, we pronounce it, we say cools. Why? Because this is what? This is voiced sound. This is voice sound. Another example is the word swim. See, swim, me, plus s, it is pronounced as swims. Why? Because it's me is voiced. We know what? Yeah, swims. Spoons, spoons. So me and ne, and also inga. If you remember last time, sorry, we said that voiced nasal sound like me, like ne. Also, you remember this vowel sound. This is also here because this is voiced. So also when we find it at the end of the word, we say what we say. We pronounce se as ze. Right. Uh, okay. So now we have what ne sound. We have inga sound. We have we have le sound. I repeat myself here. We have le. Here we have me sound. We pronounce it z. Here we have the word spoon. When we add s, we pronounce it as spoons, because me and ne are what are nasal sound, and so is a word that ends in ng, inga. Sorry, inga, inga at the end. Also, I'll give you an example. Also, when a word ends in the sound de, as in find, find as a verb, find plus s, it becomes finds, finds. Okay. Also, when the word end with this sound, ge sound, when we add s, it becomes dogs. Here, kind as a noun, here as a verb, kind, kind as a noun. Kind plus s, three kinds we say. We say kinds. Okay, right. So now we have how many here? How many vowel sounds? How many voice consonant sounds? Here we have, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is also right. So right. So now the idea is the point is that like this: when a word ends in a voiced sound, one of these voice sounds or any voice consonant sound, put this in your mind, consonant sound, it is pronounced as z sound. Okay. In addition to voice consonant, S ending is also pronounced as z after vowels. So last time we said that a word is pronounced S ending is pronounced as z when the last sound is the last consonant sound is voiced sound. We gave examples. For example, curl, curls, dog, dogs. And other examples. Here, S ending is also pronounced Z after what? After vowels. Words that end with vowels to which S is added, it is pronounced as Z. I repeat from the beginning. In addition to voiced consonants, S ending is also pronounced as Z after vowels. Let me put it like this: words that end with vowels to which S ending is added, it refers to S. It is pronounced as Z. For example, we have the verb go. Go. We have go. It becomes goes. Z. It becomes what? It becomes goes. Okay? Right. And I underlined it. Sorry. I underlined it. Here. Also, we have the word tree. 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 It ends with this. So we pronounce it what? Z. Here it ends with O, so we pronounce it Z. This is a vowel sound, diphthong. This is a simple sound, pure sound. Here also we have a fly, flies. Here also, because it ends in E. So here flies, flies. It is pronounced as flies. Sorry, it is pronounced as flies. This is I fly. When we add S to it, we pronounce it as Z sound. So fly, flies, flies. So now the word go ends with this vowel sound. The word tree ends with this vowel sound. The word fly ends with this vowel sound. This is diphthong. Also, we have it in play, as a verb or play as a noun. Play plus S, it becomes plays, plays. See here, play, diphthong, and this is what? This is Z. Also in the word car end with this vowel sound, R. When we add S, we pronounce it as Z. Cars. Flower ends in a triphthong, our. Flower. When we add S, we pronounce it as what? As Z. So now, I can summarize it like this. Now, the S ending is pronounced as Z when it is preceded by consonant, voiced consonant sound, like the de, like the ge, like the le, like the me, like the ne, etc. And it is also pronounced what? Voiced. It is also pronounced as Z when it is preceded by a vowel sound. Whether simple, what vowel sound, diphthong or triphthong. As you can see here. For example, here the word tree ends in the vowel sound E. This is a long one. So when we add S, we pronounce it as Z. Here it ends with a diphthong. Here it ends with a triphthong. So that's why we consider them because they end. All these are vowels with different forms. And simple, diphthong, triphthong. So we add S, but we pronounce it as what? Z. Right. Now let's see when is S pronounced as is, just like the auxiliary is. See here, S ending is here. S ending is pronounced is, just like the auxiliary is, after the following sounds. What are these? Se sound. And when a word ends in finishes with se sound, it is pronounced is. Also, when a word ends with ze sound, it is also pronounced is. When it ends with she sound, she, it is also pronounced as is. When the word ends with je or finishes with je, it is also pronounced as what? As is. Also, when it ends with che sound, this is che. We call them, this is che. Remember, this is affricate. This is je and che are affricate. Che and je. In all these, when a word ends with any of these, we add S. Usually, by the way, the S is ES. We add ES, but we pronounce it what? As is. So, for example, when the word glass, we say glasses. And the word becomes, the S becomes glasses, is. Fez, because it ends with Z sound. Here with C sound, we pronounce it is, fezzes. Brush plus S, we say brushes. Okay? Garage, garages, garages. Okay, so here we have the J, here we have the sh, here we have the Z, here we have the se. What about here? Here we have the che sound, this one, affricate, che, as in church, church, churches. Okay, and also J as in language or as in judge, we add S and we pronounce it as languages. Languages is. Okay, right. So now I repeat myself. By the way, here when we add usually if the word doesn't have we add S. In fact, we call it S ending, but we add es to the word, not s. Usually when it is pronounced is, we add es, but when the word has e already, no, we add just what? S. So for example, in a brush, it is written like this: B R U S H E S. So we add es. But in the word language, garage and language, because they already have e, we add s. Okay, right. So and I repeat myself that the s ending is pronounced as is after the following sound. Which one? These: se, ze, she, je, ch, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 what? 6 consonants. 6 what? Consonant sound. After which the is the s ending is pronounced what? As is. Keep this in mind. Practice it, because this is very important in the exam. One of the questions is going to be on this item. I give you words ending with S, and then I tell you to tell me whether the S at the end of the words I give it to you, whether they are, you tell me this is a pronounced say, it is a pronounced ze, it is a pronounced what? Is. Okay? Right. Thank you very much.